Just got paid, but the blow a couple racks off top. Trick right now. Walked in with the juice, went through the grind, not stop. Trick right now. Live like a movie, my life a movie. Trick right now. Trick right now.
And here we go with our main event of the evening here at MPX Factor, as Kenny Steele makes his way to the ring for a huge opportunity to walk out MPX champion once again. But in order to do so, he's going to have to derail our brand new MPX champion, Scott Mckenzie. And as we've seen already here tonight, Scott Mckenzie apparently has a whole lot of backup behind him as well.
Introducing first the challenger from Detroit, Michigan, Kenny Steele.
Kenny Steele, former prospect champion, former MPX champion. We heard him earlier talk about how a year ago he held that MPX title. And you know, Kenny Steele would love to walk out of here once again with that championship around his waist. But he has got a tall order ahead of him in Scott Mckenzie.
I love you, but you're going to lose.
Which would be worse? To live as a monster, or die as a good man?
And as we see, new MPX champion Scott Mckenzie make his way to the ring. Head of creative Jamie Aller also making his way out to the ring, along with Scott Mckenzie. Of course, not the first time we've seen Scott Mckenzie tonight. During that shocking beatdown of Dave Sagan just a little bit ago, we saw Scott Mckenzie hit that DDT on Sagan, the same DDT that you know he's looking to hit on Kenny Steele.
And his opponent from Canton, Ohio, is the MPX champion, Scott Mckenzie. The three-time MPX champion Scott Mckenzie entering the ring for his first title defense since winning it once that title was vacated last week by Palmer due to injury. We wish Palmer a speedy recovery, and I bet Palmer can't wait to return to MPX and get that title back around his waist.
You got to commend Scott Mckenzie out here 1 week after winning that title in that bunkhouse brawl we saw last week, already putting it on the line. You know Scott Mckenzie can be 100% after what we saw last week.
Ring the bell. Ding, ding, ding. Please. Bring it.
Kenny Steele, of course, former MPX champion. We heard him earlier tonight talk about how he felt when he was MPX champion a year ago, that he was actually at his worst. And he says he feels 100 times better. So will this be a very short title reign for Scott Mckenzie? We saw the damage that Scott Mckenzie did to Andy Dalton last week in that bunkhouse brawl. There were tables, chairs, light tubes, barbed wire. And interesting to note, I don't know if our camera caught it, the head of creative, Jamie Aller, did accompany Scott Mckenzie to ringside. He's actually seated over here amongst our MPX addicts.
Ohio sucks! You tell these people shut their mouths. That guy's wrong. You tell them shut up so I can concentrate on winning.
And we've seen this change in attitude from Scott Mckenzie over the last month or so. And of course, a huge change in attitude from Brent McKenzie last week. I still don't get it. I've been unable to get answers from both these guys as to exactly what's happened.
Neither one seemed to want to talk. And of course,
they're definitely not taking my phone calls.
This isn't the first time we've seen Scott Mckenzie tonight either. We've already seen him drop Dave Sagan with a DDT tonight.
We've had a lot go down here tonight. Dave Sagan seemingly ousted from the Impact players. Mike Fox with his third prospect title defense. The greatest team alive, successfully defending their tag team titles, only for Hardakis and Silver to return. They made the challenge, and then we heard Schaefer and Kirby just accept 2 weeks from tonight, January 26th. That's already looking to be a big show. We already know Livy Loca versus Lufisto, and now tag team titles on the line as well. I can't wait. And who knows who's going to be MPX champion on that night. Mckenzie misses with a right hand.
That situation we had with Dave Sagan, I think it may have gotten lost in there. Mike Fox is one title defense away from being able to cash that prospect title in.
Well, you're right. Fox could get that 4th title win next week and maybe try to get a title shot on the 26th. Who knows? Think about this. We know Jamie Aller's out here, but we saw Brent Mckenzie earlier. Yeah, we don't have him out here. We know Ryan Remington, Tommy Becker, both in the building, of course. They're not out here, but you know they're all looming somewhere in the building. If you're Kenny Steele, you got to be extremely worried that someone's going to get involved in this match.
Oh, you know they're all here, and you know they're all watching.
And Steele with a huge right hand.
Now Kenny Steele trying to do what he can to make the most of this championship opportunity.
And Steele with right hands peppering Mckenzie. And you made mention of it earlier, Tyler. Scott Mckenzie very well could not be 100% after that match last week.
We saw Scott Mckenzie last week go back first into a barbed wire board. There were chairs, there were tables, there was a nightstick. You name it, and they used it last week. Scott Mckenzie definitely on the receiving end on a lot of that.
And Kenny Steele sent back underneath that bottom rope. Mckenzie looking to buy himself some time, but Kenny Steele, suicide dive on Mckenzie.
Kenny Steele not interested in giving Scott Mckenzie any time. Kenny Steele getting the champion back into the rings. That's if he's going to win the title, he's got to do it in the ring. He can't do it on the outside.
Steele with the right hand. And now in the corner, Steele putting the boots to the champion. And of course, it looks like this title reign of Scott Mckenzie's here, Tyler, a lot different than his last one. Last time Mckenzie was champion, he was loved by the fans. The MPX Addicts were huge Scott Mckenzie supporters.
You can see by the reception last week after he won the title, not quite the same as the last time. Well, Jamie Aller's made his way out of his chair and is now right at ringside over next to us.
Well, is it any surprise to you that Scott Mckenzie and Brent Mckenzie have seemed to basically join forces and align themselves with Jamie Aller? Think about everything that the head of creative put DTF through over 2018. And now these guys are all buddy-buddy with him.
A little bit of a surprise, yeah, but if you're Scott Mckenzie and if you're Brent Mckenzie, it's a smart decision. I mean, who wouldn't want to be aligned with Jamie Aller?
Kenny Steele sitting in the turnbuckle.
And already, look what it's done for Scott Mckenzie.
Short clothesline to Kenny Steele. Lateral press for Mckenzie, only not even a 2 count.
Scott Mckenzie pulling Kenny Steele back up and sending him out between the ropes.
Well, wait a second. We've seen this multiple times when the Impact players have been in matches, but now Jamie Aller putting the boots to Kenny Steele.
Jamie Aller finding a way to get himself involved.
Now Aller telling the referee to check on Kenny Steele. As Scott Mckenzie yells out, quit. I don't think that word is in Kenny Steele's vocabulary.
Scott Mckenzie going out after Kenny Steele.
Kenny goes face first into the apron. Belly to back right on the edge of the apron.
And the back of Kenny Steele has to be in a tremendous amount of pain right now. Scott Mckenzie, as we've seen, slowly, methodically working over Kenny Steele.
Dropping the knee across the face of Kenny. Well, now, Mckenzie yelling at the referee, telling Kenny Steele to quit.
Wants Kenny
Again, I
Steele
don't
to
see
quit.
that happening. Kenny Steele is not going to quit.
Kenny Steele So it's Scott Mckenzie to
It's
bring
not going
it.
to be that easy for Scott Mckenzie here tonight.
Oh, Kenny Steele starting to fire back.
Huge spine buster from Mckenzie. And only a 2 count.
And just as quick as Kenny Steele started to turn this around, Scott Mckenzie hits that spine buster and able to get this right back into his favor.
Mckenzie now just toying with the former champion.
That boot of Scott Mckenzie was right to the back of the head of Kenny Steele. Yeah, Jamie Aller having a little word with the referee.
Huge suplex. Mckenzie with another cover. And again, just 2.
Beautiful vertical suplex from Scott Mckenzie. Just not quite enough to put Kenny Steele away yet. Kenny Steele was not taking this opportunity lightly. His chance after a year becoming MPX champion. Once again, just spit.
Kenny Steele just
Scott Mckenzie.
spat in the direction of the MPX champion. And that might have pissed Mckenzie off.
Not smart for Kenny Steele. Why would you want to anger Scott Mckenzie anymore? You can see Scott Mckenzie threw that elbow pad off right before that uppercut, right to the jaw of Kenny Steele.
And again, Scott Mckenzie yelling for the official to tell Kenny Steele to quit. Steele back to his feet. And a chop right into the throat.
You can see Kenny
Mckenzie
Steele.
with a clothesline. Damn near tore the head off of Kenny Steele. Rolls up 2 legs. Only a 2 count.
Kenny Steele struggling to breathe after that chop right to the throat.
Scott, what's his name is cheating.
Scott Mckenzie looks a little surprised as he stares at the referee that didn't put Kenny away.
Stop! Come on, Kenny! Scott sucks! Come on, Kenny! You suck!
And again, the MPX champion just toying with the challenger here.
Oh.
And a huge uppercut from Kenny Steele. Steele's not out of it. And that boot from Mckenzie stops Steele right in his tracks. Irish whip into the ropes. Steele ducks the clothesline. Charges back in. Flying forearm.
Oh, he rocks Scott
Mckenzie's still
Mckenzie.
on his feet. Another forearm. This one takes the champion down, but he's right back up. And Steele charges in. Mckenzie puts the boot up. Steele caught it. Steele charges in again. This time he's met with a boot from Mckenzie.
There we go, right back in control. Right back in control for the MPX champion. Oh, wait a minute. Oh,
German suplex. As Mckenzie rebounded off the ropes. And wait a second now. Of course, we knew this was going to happen.
We got some company out here.
Ryan Remington, Tommy Becker, Brent Mckenzie.
Oh, just like we saw earlier, they're surrounding the ring. Wait a minute.
Frankie Fisher! Frankie Fisher with a kendo stick! Fisher taking out Tommy Becker. There's one for
Remington,
Ryan
too.
Remington. And a huge right hand from Brent Mckenzie. But Frankie Fisher took out the Impact players with a kendo stick. Meanwhile, Scott
look at the ring,
Mckenzie
Scott Mckenzie.
with a low blow. Referee didn't see it.
It's DDT.
DDT on Kenny Steele. Cover. And Kenny Steele is done for. Here's your winner and still the MPX champion, Scott Mckenzie. And Scott Mckenzie, victorious, took advantage of the referee's back being turned, kicked Kenny Steele right between the legs, allowing him to hit the DDT and Mckenzie
Brent Mckenzie and Ryan
successfully
Remington and
defends the
Frankie Fisher.
MPX championship. And now wait a second, Frankie Fisher tossed back in.
Looks like
And now Frankie might pay for getting involved. DDT to Frankie Fisher.